like to finish this workshop with 8 top tips of how to get the most out of your food and vitamins, because how we cook our food and store it can heavily affect how we absorb the vitamins and also how they're lost in the food, because sometimes we can have all this healthy fresh produce and then we could lose it in the cooking. So here's my top 8 tips to get the most vitamins out of your food. Okay, so number 1, eat as fresh and unprocessed as possible. Okay, so because for instance, you can lose up to 70% of the nutrient content from leafy green foods if you cook it. So spinach, kale, all of those. What's the other one? My mum grows one. It's got a funny name. They, if you cook them down, you often lose the nutritional benefit. So I usually, for instance, say I do a toasty, like I'm just making a toasty on Turkish bread or whatever. I'll do the toasty and then I'll chop up all the spinach at the end and put it, open the top of the toasty and put it in and then eat it instead of cooking it, okay? Things like that. Having your leafy greens in salads instead of cooked. Number 2 is keep fresh food cold and in the dark in a sealed container in the fridge to maintain their nutrient qualities, because as days go on, the cell walls sort of break down and die and you're losing the vitamins that are in there. So yeah, keep it in a sealed container in the fridge as best you can. Eat more raw food, so grate your beetroot and your carrot over salads or sandwiches and things like that. And there's a tinned beetroot shortage at the moment, so if you can get fresh beetroot from somewhere, use it and grate it. Number 4 is, less cooking is better for the plant foods, except broccoli, because it is so can be quite tough sometimes. Broccoli, they have shown that partially cooking it, just softening it enough, the cell wall breaks down a little bit, that allows you to absorb the nutrients in broccoli better. But definitely don't boil your food unless you're going to drink the contents of the water afterwards. But even then, the heat from boiling often kills off the vitamin content. And I remember, back in the day, boiling, I don't know if it was my grandma or just whoever it was, someone used to boil a lot of their vegetables, and I remember learning this at uni and thinking, they're just wasting all their vitamin content. So, and that's often also why the food doesn't taste as good when it's boiled, because you've lost the vitamin content, which has flavour. So, for instance, with soups, you can make like a soup, say carrot soup or something like that. You can blend it all up cold and not actually cook it, and then you can just heat it to room temperature to eat the soup. That would maintain your vitamins much better in that sort of meal. And if you do have to boil it or cook it in water, don't cook it in too much water and use the water as a broth. Also, you can cook things in more of a whole form, so roasting, try and roast the vegetables in big form and then slice or cut them up when you're actually eating them or before serving. The 6th point is don't burn, overcook or brown the food too much. So minimal frying, just lightly fry, don't fry for too long. And the last 2 points, number 7, is you can probably see from what I said and the amount you need, supplement your diet to ensure you get your optimum daily allowance. So you will see in the PDFs that you've got what it takes, how much food of these sources you need to get your optimum, and sometimes that's a lot. So supplementing helps. I do take supplements. Unfortunately, I didn't used to take supplements years ago after I'd done my nutrition degree. I didn't, because I did learn that we can get enough from our food if we eat really well. However, now, unfortunately, the way that we farm, majority of places farm, we're not getting as much bang for our buck per carrot, for instance, that we did a long time ago. So I do supplement now. And I mean, I live in a place where, yes, I'm lucky I can grow my own fruit and vegetables, but they're still seasonal, and you know, I don't always have enough of a certain thing to eat enough that day of it. So supplementing does help, and getting good supplements, not the ones off the shelf in the supermarket. They're not that good, okay? So remember, you can always talk to me about supplements. I don't make money off supplements to you guys. If you're doing my program, you get the same price I get, but they are the best ones, I think. And then the last option, number 8, is go by this rule. Good food goes off quick. So the less refined a food is, the less processed it is, the more vitamin it has in it, but it doesn't last as long. Okay, so we process things to refine them, and unfortunately, through processing, we lose the nutrients. So yes, eat fresh, it's healthier, but you have to constantly be getting fresh food in. I understand that. So store it in cool places, sealed containers to look after it, and it will last longer. Okay, that is a big workshop. That's a lot of information. You may want to listen to that twice, but if you look at the PDFs I've sent you, that really does go through a lot of what I've talked about. You can stick them up on your fridge and sort of just, or on your toilet door or something like that, so it's getting into your head, and you can make a list yourself of your shopping list of the foods that you think you should probably start taking. I go through that with you in one of the sessions anyway, because we look at your symptom checker, and if you've had blood tests, I look at that and tell you which vitamins to focus on for you. But for now, it's something to think about. And the other thing is, in the one-on-ones, we look at what a deficiency of a vitamin looks at for you. So, you know, tingly feet or fatigue, even with the right amount of sleep all the time. There's lots and lots of symptoms, and we work out which ones you're probably deficient in, and then confirm that with blood tests, and then we can really hone in specifically for you. But this is a great thing for your partner, your family, your friends, to also have these lists and make sure that you're getting at least one food from each vitamin in your meals every day. Okay? Q&As, send me through any questions that you've got, and I will do another shorter video on those this week as well. Thank you. Have a great day.